Welcome to this deployment tactics video for the Aeldari, 2000 points. The purpose of this video is to show you how this particular list deploys, what units go where, what units go into reserve, and just to give you a theoretical deployment for this Eldar force. Hopefully it helps you with your own Aeldari army. So showing you how to use them effectively on the battlefield. Deployment is crucial. It can determine whether you win or lose a game, even before you get to the later stages of the game. So important enough. I hope to discuss some tactics and so on in this episode. So first up is to go through the Eldar list. I'm running the aspect host detachment. For the full rundown of the list and all the tactics, do check out the complete army video. Much more detailed description of all the units, the points, values, why they've been chosen and so on. Avatar of Cain, first up. Triple Wraithlord, all of those equipped with Bright Lances, Ghost Glaives and Flamers. 2 squads of 3 Windriders, and they're all taking Shuriken Cannons. Then I have vehicles, unit and character combos. I have a Falcon with Bright Lance, Pulse Laser, Shuriken Cannon. Inside that will be usually the squad of Banshees. The Exarch's got an Executioner, Jain Zar to join them. Then we have Fuegan joining Fire Dragons, Fire Pike on the Exarch, and they go usually inside the Waveserpent. That's got a twin Bright Lance and Shuriken Cannon. Then I actually have spare points in this list, so this model here is going to count as a lone Warlock Skyrunner. He can join Windrider jet bikes, that is an option. I have a Spiritseer in the list, squad of Shroud Raunners, squad of 3, and then 2 squads of 3 Shining Spears, Shuriken Cannon, Star Lance being taken on each of the squad Exarchs. So that's the list for the Eldar. They're alright on the channel. They've been doing well enough. Quick army, versatile, they can strike hard and ambush. So deployment is crucial for an army like this. We'll take a look at that next. So we've got one of our tables set up here that we've been playing games on. And we've gone for like it doesn't really matter the type of deployment. We've gone diagonal this time around. So the orange dice marking the deployment zone for the Eldar. We're going to play the usual number of objectives. So usually I have a home objective inside our deployment zone. Then the opponent's deployment zone will run across there, and then there's their home objective. And then the 3 objectives of no man's land. One in the middle, one on the Eldar right hand flank, and then one on the left hand side just behind the barrels over there. The board that we're playing across is battle mat and terrain from gamemat.eu. This is the Imperial Refinery battle mat. It's one of my favourites, brilliant rusty stone tones going on here, just different to usual sort of grey colours for city fighting. It matches in really well with my sort of AdMech themed terrain here. Some from Games Workshop, a good chunk of it from gamemat.eu as well. This is industrial terrain set for them. So link below for your mats and terrain. There's a discount code for 11% off. They're shipping worldwide, and then to mark the celebration for their new website, an extra 5% off available if your order comes to over £300. And then of course for discount 40k to get a hold of your Eldar models, codex and cards, it's gamingfigures.com, link for them below. So with deployment, the first thing you need to do is allocate where units are going. So we'll do that. It's quite obvious. Fuegan, Fire Dragons inside the Waveserpent. I don't have to do that, but pretty much every game that's what I'm doing. And then Jain Zar and the Banshees inside the Falcon. That's got a transport capacity of 6. This one has 12. The Falcon, if it shoots at something, the unit that disembarks from it can reroll wounds. It's particularly useful for Banshees, so that's the combination I want to go for. He walks in, he doesn't join anyone, he just walks in amongst units. He can join Windriders. I'm not going to do that. So that's my allocations done, and then for reserves. So this is quite an important part here for the Eldar. I can put up to 500 points in reserve walking on to the table. Usually I put the bikers in reserve because they're vulnerable to being ambushed and shot to pieces, and I want to bring them on the board at full strength. And so both of those units I'll keep off the table. And usually turn 1 usually is pretty quiet, and so I'll need them turn 2 onwards to arrive and provide firepower support. But I want to keep them in my back pocket, keep them safe, and so I'll keep both of those off the board. The same goes for the Shining Spears. I usually keep 1 or 2 units of these off the table. 110 points. So I'm certainly going to keep 1 unit in reserve. I just roll the models over so it signifies to me, to help me remember, and also the opponent, what units are going into reserve. And then I'm also going to put this Warlock Skyrunner in reserve. I've not put him with a unit, and so I'm going to... If I keep him on the board, he can move out and do secondaries early, go for the early grab. But I think, again, I'll keep him safe, keep him off the board. He can come in very late in the game, perhaps, help pick up points behind enemy lines and so on, and be more useful, more protected on the board once many of the enemy units are out of the game, potentially. So reserves have been declared. The next step is to deploy in a way where I don't want to give too much away early on. So I'll try and deploy first with a predictable unit. And that's usually these Shroud Runners. Both myself and the opponent know what their usual duty is. So I'm going to deploy them in this corner, hidden away, ready to move around onto the home objective. I might just go further around because their supporting firepower is usually very good. If I can scoot across and let off some shots to help other units, that'll be useful. Or on the early turns of the game, I can just bring them around to anchor and hold the home objective. Our home objective is nicely tucked away behind this terrain. This is an ideal sort of situation. For the Eldar, got obscuring terrain here. We play that piece as obscuring, so this is a real good board and a good deployment zone for them. Something I'll do with Shining Spears is try and keep them out of trouble as well. So I'm going to tuck the unit that starts on the table. I'm going to tuck these in at the back, hopefully out of trouble. Here, do you know what? I'm going to change that. I'm going to put them over here. I found that when you put units right at the back, it can take them too long to get into position, especially a close combat type unit. That's much better. I'm obscured behind here. Perhaps even tuck them further around the corner. I don't want them getting shot at, but at the same time I don't want them out of the game. Here is quite a good spot. They can zip round, move through quick enough. They can relocate into their objective. They're filling out my back line quite nicely. So I'm going to put Shining Spears there. That's 2 drops, and then you're watching to see what the opponent's dropping across. On their side, usually it is going to be their sort of predictable stuff. We don't have many drops to do. A lot of our stuff's in reserve. A lot of our units are inside transport, so we don't have many drops to put onto the board. So I kind of deploy in a way where I've got to anticipate where the unit's going to put, or where the opponent's going to put their key units. But you sort of know what the opponent's going to do. They're going to go after these objectives, and I need to go after them too. So I want to try and deploy in a way where I can be aggressive and take those objectives, and also attack units that are on them. So when I'm deploying, I'm looking for 2 key deployments. One's for my avatar, and the other's for the Wraithlords. I want to put them somewhere where they can go after objectives, one of these no man's land objectives, but also be quite shielded as they do so. So I'm quite liking... I don't want to be out of the picture on this. I want to be in the fight. So I'm thinking Wraithlords here. And usually I cluster them together. So I'm dropping one at a time. Again, I'm watching to see what the opponent does with their units. But that is 4 drops on the board. And now you're going to see a large chunk of what the opponent has as well. So it's advantageous to do that. I'm holding off with my transport vehicles because I'm watching to see where they put their anti-tank. I don't want to get ambushed and caught out. I don't want my vehicles being shot. That's quite predictable, quite safe. So I'm here. I'm in the middle of the board. It's a good influential place to be. I can put firepower across in that direction. My intent's to march around the corner, head off towards that objective, or head off towards the central objective. I'm not too concerned about grabbing it straight away, but I want to get to it sort of turn 1, turn 2 and beyond it. So I can stick together, lay down a blanket of firepower. Farseer can help protect these units, and their intent's to head off in that direction. I'm not too worried if the opponent knows that. That's a fair bit for them to try and deal with, and I think a good spot. I'm nicely sheltered on turn 1. These are tough, but I don't want them getting gunned down. I want to try and protect them, make it difficult for the opponent to get them. But at the same time, I don't want to really over protect them, and then they're out of the fight. I've got to try and push aggressively with their deployment. I'm trying to leave space as well for other units being deployed. Usually then I will go next with the Banshees, and I'm looking for a place where I can go. I'm going to go here, like so. Okay, so I'm obscured. There's a number of reasons for this deployment. I'm obscured behind this terrain. I'm within moving distance to grab that objective. And also, if I swing around, this is obscuring terrain as well, so I can swing around, stay quite well protected, grab an objective. And then also, if I'm going to position myself there, I've given myself a good striking range for the Banshees to then disembark, move 8, boost them 2, move 6, and then charge. See the sort of threat range that you create across the board, right, potentially into the heart of the opponent's deployment zone. So that's a good move. Take a flank with the Falcon, swing around on the objective, and then take it from there as the game goes on. So I'm not so worried about these being slow. I've got Banshees inside their Falcon, potentially Shining Spears backing them up, and really go for a grab on that flank. And again, crucial to try and keep units hidden. I can be shattered quite easily. My transports, my flyers will be gunned down by heavy guns. Same with the Wraithlord, so I'm just going to try and shelter behind terrain as much as possible. If the terrain's not dense enough, if there's not enough, I'll try and put as much in reserve as I can just to try and protect units, keep them safe. Because I know that I can manoeuvre fast to get into position to shoot and to strike in close combat. So much of my army's out. It means that most of the opponent's units are out as well. So another spot that's quite tasty is here with the Waveserpent. Inside that's the Fire Dragons. For example, well, first up, I'm protecting myself. So yes, the opponent might get an anti-tank unit across here, but I've got cover, I've got an invuln save. It's only one unit, they're going to struggle to destroy that vehicle, so I think that's fine. A deployment something like this would be silly because the opponent could bring out multiple units. So I'm trying to limit the firepower that comes in, or if not, stop it. But at the same time, I don't want to be out of the fight. I want to be aggressive and push up as much as I can. This is quite a good threat range as well. I can head off in that direction, or I can, for example, go 14. I could then use star engines and go d6 plus 1. Let's say we get to there. I can then deploy 3 with my unit, and I've got with him a 24-inch threat range. You see how well you got the board covered, just an immediate strike available. And then I can use my aspect host detachment stratagem at the end of the fight phase, as long as I'm not in close combat, Skyborn Sanctuary, and I can hop back inside the transport for protection. And if the transport's destroyed, I can then deploy back here with the units. All sorts of shenanigans you can do with the Eldar, but trying to set myself up so that I can react to the opponent as they try and take on or go after objectives. I can maneuver fast enough with the Fire Dragons, with their firepower, try and get them into good position and let loose some dangerous shooting. Overwatch is a problem. It's not. I can use a token on them to shut down Overwatch so that they can disembark very close to enemy units, not be overwatched, and then hop back inside. So it's a good play. Try and see if I had have done, for example, if I had deployed back here and then gone 14 and then boosted, that's those crucial inches where I'm not able perhaps to reach key enemy units. So deploying higher is preferable. So I literally have one unit that I haven't deployed, and that's the Avatar of Cain. So I'm looking for an opportunity to go aggressive, but at the same time be protected. See, along here is too exposed. I don't want him out of the fight. He's going to be out for 3 turns, silly. I want him turn 1, turn 2 operating in sort of this kind of area. So in the long-term plan, I want to get to the middle of the board. It's a good dominating place to be. The Wraithlord's already there, so I could try and go around this direction, but it's very exposed along here. So I think I would go, I could try and do a flank and hop over to the obscuring terrain to try and buy him some time. I could also anchor an objective by doing that. It would also free up the Banshees to move off and go somewhere else, and it's not too far away from the middle of the board. Or I can go here which I would have done, but the Wraithlord's already there, so I'm going to go over here. Behind the obscuring terrain, I can go 10, potentially +2 on advance. I can get onto that objective nice and early. And that means I'm going to anchor that one, no problem at all. And then on later turns, I really could peel right round on the left-hand side, go that direction, or come across and head off towards the centre of the board. So I'll go that way with the Avatar of Khaine. And it's partly going to be a reaction to how the opponent's deployed. Maybe they've got their really good anti-tank stuff over here. And so I'm going to deploy in a way where it's going to make it difficult for them to locate and go after the Avatar of Khaine. If he survives into the middle stage of the battle, it'll be very dangerous indeed. So that's deployment done. I hope it's giving you sort of a walk through the way it works. And then for the Eldar, I've got fast units on the board, tough units on the board. And then in reserve, brilliant unit Shining Spears to flank onto the table. A useful little unit for picking up points for secondaries. These two are inside their transport vehicles. And then when needed, firepower support coming from the Windriders. So if this is my table edge, turn 2 onwards, I can bring them in, add 2, lend firepower support, 24-inch range, and wherever it's needed, they can come in, or I can plug gaps along the back line to stop deep strikers from coming in as well. Small, useful, potent assets in reserve, fast units on the board, and also tough units where they're needed as well. So I hope this video has been a help. Do check out the full complete army video that will give you the rundown on all of the units, the points, values, tactics, and so on. It's nice to see the armies and the battle reports as well, but a chance just to run through the theory behind a deployment. That's the point of this video series. If you've enjoyed it, do leave a thumbs up and a comment. If you're not subscribed, do subscribe already. Check out GameMat.eu for your battle mats and terrain. Great options available from them. For all of your models, codexes, it's gamingfigures.com. Links all below for those. And also painting commissions if you want your armies painted up. And then do check out RW Studio as well for all of your painting commissions. Link for them below as well. Keep a look out for more videos in the series. Thanks for watching. Tune in next time.